Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, it is yours truly once again, the corporate security translator and the author of So You Want to Get Into Corporate Security. I'm hanging out with somebody really, really cool today. Big time Ryan Erwin. I'm talking about like chief of like college, university, police down in Texas, all the way down to the FBI Leadership Academy. Big time GM now with one of like the premier security companies in the country.
Let me tell y'all out there a little story, man, and it goes a little something like this.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, it is yours truly once again, the corporate security translator and the author of So You Want to Get Into Corporate Security. I'm hanging out with somebody really, really cool today. Big time Ryan Erwin. I'm talking about like chief of like college, university, police down in Texas, all the way down to the FBI Leadership Academy. Big time GM now with one of like the premier security companies in the country, if not the world. These guys are taking over the world, I believe. And man, I am so pumped to have you here. What is up? What's going on, big time Ryan? How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Carlos. How are you, man? What an introduction! Thank you
Just
so much.
see that I did the sir thing in there. See, because you're
I
doing the
did.
sir
Yes,
thing
I
to
did.
me. So I said, "How you doing, sir?" 'Cause,
I love it.
That's
Thank you. That's what we do. Yes, sir.
That's how we're gonna do it. Now, look, man, I'm really excited to have you here. We had a great conversation, not just about work, business, but about life and things like that. And I think you're an outstanding human being. I'm a fan of great human beings. I don't know about you, but they're becoming increasingly hard to find these days.
Yes.
So look, we got to kick this off. We got 30 minutes of a heck of a lot of fun, man. We're gonna joke, play, have fun, educate, and share a lot of stuff with the folks. So I don't want to cut out some of the time, and I know you got a lot to share. So why don't we just kick it off? Tell the folks a little bit about yourself and yeah, kick it.
We'll do. And first off, thank you, Carlos, for what you're doing.
Oh,
The transition is very, very rough. It can be, and I appreciate the opportunity because this is what it's all about. If I can pay it forward and help anyone, that's what I want to do. So
awesome, man. Awesome. Thank you.
Well, just to get started, so I spent 17 years. I was the assistant chief of police for the third largest state agency in Texas.
Wow.
And was 8 years away from retirement and transitioned.
Right.
So I had a lot of colleagues and friends, say, "Hey, chief, congratulations. Hey, can we find out what happened? Can you tell us the investigation? Like when can you talk about it?" And I was like, there's no investigation.
Right.
And it went from also, hey, you did it. You went into the corporate world, and I mean, I've received every thought of like a traitor to hey, you're the unicorn that got out on your own terms.
Man. Yep.
So it's been very good. But no, I guess going to the very beginning, early in my career, just saw that there was a lot of issues where there were we build a lot of amazing leaders in law enforcement, but there's really no exit strategy.
Right.
I really saw that quickly and noticed that, I kind of equated to if you were going to go to a foreign country and you knew that in 10 years or 5 years or 2 years, whatever it is that you had to go and there was no option.
Right.
You would prepare yourself. You would
Absolutely
learn the language, learn the culture, everything. What I saw early in my career was none of that. It was a lot of officers that I would say, well, what do you want to do when you're getting close to retirement or you want to transition, whatever it might be, and they didn't know. A lot of scared, a lot of feeling like they have no options. A lot of, well, I'll retire, go back into policing. And I didn't really see that as a positive thing to start all over again. I had a lot of really, really amazing colleagues that were getting Tuesdays and Wednesdays off again, working night shift.
Yep.
And starting all over. So it was just very, very interesting for me to see that there was a big trend where people leaving law enforcement becoming salesmen. nothing wrong with that, but it was just very, very strange to me. So early in my career, I started realizing that I needed to have an exit strategy. I really started reaching out and trying to find amazing mentors. I'm very lucky to have a lot of those. But quickly I found education, certification, and experience is what you have to have for that transition. So I don't know what area you're at in that, but I have even some of my friends that are Texas Rangers that they're a couple of years within retirement, and they're saying, well, I just want to go ahead and move back to law enforcement, starting all over again. And let's be honest, it's a young person's career when you were on the streets.
Yep.
And like you and I have joked before, I mean, even Chuck Norris has a stunt double.
Hey, and by the way, wasn't he a Texas Ranger?
He was, and that's why I joke. I said, okay, you're a Texas Ranger, you know so many amazing things,
right?
But it's really just not, in my opinion, not preparing and not moving forward with that next level. If you know it's going to occur, really working on the education, the certification, and the experience. And so I did that early in my career, but then when I became assistant chief, about a year and a half into it, I started looking and saying, okay, well, I want to go be a chief of police. And with the current trend right now, 3 to 5 years, I actually got chosen for 2 chief of police positions. And it's one of those ones where it's like, well, if you're not there till 6, from 6 in the morning to 7 o'clock at night, you're not doing a good job.
Right.
And it was very, I had a lot of people say to me, well, you're going to be an amazing chief of police at this place because it's so messed up. You're going to be able to turn it around. And it just didn't appeal to me.
Were you thinking, man, the amount of work it's going to take?
Exactly. And Carlos, if you do your work on the education, the certification, the experience, and you can get your dream job, why would you not want to do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I just see a lot of it's a noble profession. I will always appreciate everything that I have been given, but also it just came down to this last year and a half. It was quality of life.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, it's really, what do you want to do? And as an assistant chief, I got to see a lot of amazing things, but it started getting to the point to where I had gone up all the rungs of the ladder, and I realized that I was on the wrong wall.
Right.
When I turned and looked, it's okay, is this what I want to do? So recently what I did, like I say, 8 years away from retirement, but I actually did my research on the company that I'm with now, and having connections on LinkedIn, having others that have helped with that transition, I actually went and reached out to the company. And after doing a little bit of research, looking at their mission, their vision, their core 5 core values, I was very excited, and I just reached out to them and said, hey, if I'm looking to transition from law enforcement to the corporate side, what do I need to do? Because with those chief of police positions that I had been lucky enough to get accepted for those, but then also realizing, hey, this is not really what I want to do. I didn't know if I was a hot commodity or not. You really start doubting yourself.
Yep.
I know a lot of people out there are doing that. They're doubting themselves. And, and I will tell you, if you have somebody that is keeping your career stagnant, they are not a good mentor.
I
mean,
oh man,
sorry.
We could go in a lot of places there. I'm
sorry.
I just get excited whenever somebody says something like that. You're right, because I tell a lot of people that you can't call yourself a leader if that's the human being you are. Just call yourself a manager and go work somewhere else. Yeah,
and I started seeing some of that, and like I say, it was not something that I ran from anything, but immediately people are like, okay, what went wrong, or why are you doing what you're doing? This is, and I think a lot of officers are thinking about the transition are very scared. They don't know what's out there, but they also need to prepare. But when I reached out to the VP of the Houston office with the company that I'm with now, we talked. I said, hey, am I a hot commodity? Can you help me with my LinkedIn? Can you help me with this and that? They weren't searching for the position I'm in.
Right.
It was amazing, because when we talked, the dialogue was like, hey, we would love to have somebody like you on our team.
Yep.
And it was just a great feeling. And, I'm the general manager here in Houston. Before policing, the 17 years of policing, I was in maritime industry. That's where I actually got my bachelor's degree. And so it's been learning in the Houston area and moving forward. Before I came to Marksman, the company that I'm with, the corporate side was more, okay, they bring in the amazing heavy hitter, security guards that they have whenever they're doing the bid.
Right.
And then you get the less, okay, what's the best way I could say, the less than stellar.
Well, I'm going to say less qualified.
Individuals that are there. So
I'm on the other side. I deal with it often. So I'm perfectly okay by saying less qualified. There you go. I'll say.
So when I saw what Marksman's doing, and I saw that this could be a huge niche, it's something that we're stepping in, and we are really bringing the customer service feel to it. To see the company, yes, and to see that they are family oriented, that they, the customer service that, even working in the hospital setting when I was, with law enforcement, there's no customer service. It's almost the thought process of like,
Yep.
Well, I'm the only one that's going to respond. So you're going to have to just deal with the way I am. And I really worked hard with, when I was assistant chief of police, of changing the mindset and making the customer service an important aspect of it.
Yep.
I don't know why I keep doing my eyebrows, but anyway.
Well, because you're so correct. Look at me. I'm doing it now too, because I'm excited. I'm excited about a couple of things, man. Let me just break a couple of things down, because you said a lot of great stuff, man. And I think all these things are keys. So here are some of the things that you talked about. Brian Tuskan, which was a podcast that I did. He's actually the chief security officer for Microsoft, the boss, right?
Okay.
He breaks down to three how you left law enforcement, because he left law enforcement as well, on his own accord. But he breaks down to three. I think one of them was, you straight got fired. Another one is that, well, you got let go because of policy, some kind of policy issue that just didn't fit. It wasn't a fit, right? And then the third one is, I just got tired. That is not including I just retired, 25 years. That's, they kicked me out pretty much. I had to go. So that's a real good one. Eric Vento then goes in on Brian's little interview podcast that he does, Cop to Corporate, by the way, cop2corporate.com. And he talks about him being let go and how he felt. Was like, what the hell do I do in my life now? That's all I had to do. And then I had another one with Coach Wolford, Wolf, if you said Wolford, Wolford. And he was telling me, he got out because he got into a major motorcycle accident and just wasn't going to be able to perform as a law enforcement officer. But same thing. He's like, what do I do now? Am I needed? Can I be used anywhere? Or am I just now garbage? Because my entire life, I was going to be a cop. That's what I was going to do. That was my dream. That's everything I was going to do. Can I be useful anywhere else in the world, right? And a lot of people feel that way, by the way. A lot of people that are coming out of law enforcement, military, emergency services, federal careers, they're like, okay, am I going to be good enough for whatever it is that I'm going to do? So I love that you brought all that stuff. I also love that you talked about education, certification, and experience. All three of them are important in getting to where you're going. But most importantly, what I like that you said, you want to know something? I'm just going to reach out to the guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to reach out to him and say, hey, what's up? What's going on? This is where I am in my career. Let's chat, and do you think there's ever a need for me? I don't know if you said in your company or just anywhere in the world. So that was big. And the last thing that you mentioned in this awesome story that you're telling, customer service, customer centric style of security, which is on the other side of my life is I do corporate security magic. where I bring my 21 years with the Walt Disney Company and focus in on customer security. I'm really trying to change the industry and how we think that we should be focusing on. I say customer security first, observe and report second. We already do observe and report anyways, but how about what we do the most of 95% of our time, which is just being great customer service folks. And let's focus on that first, because then the other 5% we could work on in training, you know. So I'm loving this, man. I think you were right, by the way, also about marksman on the customer centric stuff. So, okay, that was a fit for you. That was a fit for you. You kicked it off. You're starting it. And I don't want to, hopefully I didn't cut you off from what you were saying.
No, not at all.
But I just wanted to see then you kind of start this thing with marksman, and what is it? How was that transition mentally, or how was it physically or technologically? Was this something different?
Oh, totally different, but in a positive way. I think in law enforcement, it's be at this location at this time, and be and it's more like I was saying, we build amazing leaders, but also it's the quality of life, you miss the flexibility, or I can't think of how many different times I've missed time with my family or anything like that. But going to this side and being able to explain, you first need to know who you are.
Right.
A lot of times I think, and please don't take this the wrong way, but police, being law enforcement, it was amazing. I will always respect it, but it doesn't define who Ryan Erwin is.
Yep.
And when you start going into the next level, and a lot of it's building relationships, having a proactive mindset versus a reactive mindset. But with marksman, it has been amazing. It's the camaraderie that you feel with law enforcement,
right?
But then also being able to reach out, and I've always been huge on teamwork, and it hasn't been. I know that the fear is there, and I would be lying if I said I wasn't fearful at first as well. But when you go, law enforcement loves change, right?
Yeah. No.
You hate it.
Nope.
So I think getting over that initially, but one thing that I will say that is a major difference that I saw, is being able to articulate your experiences. Right. I'll give you an example. And Eric Vento, actually, we talked about this. This is something that he has pointed out. I think with law enforcement, we're so involved on just stating what our experience is, and that should be enough.
Yep.
And
well, you should know, right? You should know what I do.
Yeah, great example. Exactly. And a great example, I was incident commander at Santa Fe high school shooting in 2018. If I ask, if I talk to law enforcement, any officer, and just say I was incident commander at Santa Fe, they're going to start asking questions and figure out what's going on, and say, okay, well, what did you do exactly? But the corporate side doesn't understand. There's definitely a disconnect, and you need to expand or articulate on your experience.
You always got to break down the entire incident command system to them. You start breaking down the ICS 100, 700,
Dude. And when I started saying, hey, we had 2 bomb canines on location, but I will tell you that's the difference, is you really need, what has been so great right now with what I'm doing is breaking things down even more and being able to market yourself, as well as market your company, as well as, hitting each vertical and learning a lot of different things. But we've hit the ground running here, and we're just, 40% growth last year during a pandemic is unheard of. Yeah. So the customer centric, and that's one thing I love about you, Carlos, is you talk about it as well. That is what sets us apart, because that's why I left 17 years is I didn't want a job. I wanted a career, and I wanted a family to come. And, that's what we're doing here at Marksman. I've been now right at about a month, but just to see the change of being able to we come from a world where it's you just say something and people understand it,
Yep.
but you have to really go further with it. So, but
Yeah,
that,
it's really interesting in what you were saying, because the corporate world is a little weird too. And if you get in with the right company, the right place at the right time, then it's magical. Going back to my corporate security magic. Anyways, it's magical. And what I mean by that is this: is that you get to a point in your career, and I might be wrong on this, but you did 17 years, and you're like, okay, now I'm just kind of going through the movement. Here I am, clock in, do my job, clock out, go home, right? And then you realize that you're longing for, so you get to a point in your career that you're longing for something more in your life, that you're longing for something more than that. You want to be involved. You want to be able to make decisions, change the world, change, whatever it is that you're doing. And I think with a lot of corporate companies, law enforcement folks can come in and do that. A lot of them are not, all the policies and procedures are not in place yet. So you have a chance to kind of, feel that you're needed. I think that's
exactly.
I think that's it. And I can just imagine, man, coming into a company like Marksman, in a big place, 40% growth. That means there's a lot of growing policies that come with that, growing procedures. Man, I could just see how you're pumped. That's crazy.
Oh, I love it. And it's being challenged every day. I've never wanted to be stagnant. And you hit it on the head, Carlos. I mean, it's going from that to now every day is amazing. And your strengths are what is going to assist the company.
Yep.
And, we are missing out on so many amazing law enforcement men and women because they are either not prepared,
yep,
or they're scared, or they don't understand who they are and what their worth is to this, whatever it is, whatever side that you want to go to, but, to be able to reach out. And that was another really interesting thing is, I think with law enforcement, we are waiting to see something open up before we apply. But the future is yours to take.
Yeah.
You're an amazing, amazing person that has seen a lot of different things, and just to articulate those experiences. And that's what I did with Marksman. And I mean, they have been amazing. And I will tell you this, I mean, coming from a state agency, I'm thinking, okay, state, Marksman is talking nationally,
yeah,
globally.
Yeah.
And that's going to be scary for any of law enforcement to go into that and go, wow, okay, whoa, hold on. But
it's a lot of fun, man. But it's a lot of fun.
Fun.
You get to travel a little bit more in the company's money. You get to eat free food. No, I'm kidding, man. There's a lot of work to do. Here's a couple of things, then I got to plug the book every once in a while. So June 30th, So You Want to Get Into Corporate Security is coming out. You can actually get it on Kindle right now. And it's like a wait order kind of thing, according to the publisher. I don't know what that is. I just write the thing and they throw it up there. But here's a couple of things. I talk about a 5, 3, and 1 year plan. And look, the best time to look for a job is when you have a job. It's really that simple. It's not when you're like, oh, crap, I don't have a job now. I better go find a job. That's not the way to do it. But I want to tell you a little bit about the law enforcement world that I've noticed. As soon as you're done with the law enforcement world, everybody shuts you off. It's almost like you're no longer part of the crew. You're no longer part of the squad, the team, and everything else. So look, if you're a law enforcement officer right now and you're listening to this, I don't care if you're a sergeant, lieutenant, captain, go up the chain. I don't care. Corporal, maybe a training corporal, FTO or something like that. Look, this is the deal. Those people that are leaving today are the ones that you actually want to stay in contact with, because those are the folks that'll be able to help you transition into your law enforcement world. Into your corporate world. Get you out of law enforcement into the corporate world. One thing that I noticed about law enforcement, I did a couple of years of it, and then I stayed as a reservist. A lot of people know my story. Disney called me back, reservist. I'm like, more money. I don't have to wear a vest and a gun anymore. I was getting paid $36,193 a year. There you go. What I was getting paid in 2011. All right. So I was like, all right, man, I'm out. So I went right back to Wally World. And I tried to keep in contact with my squad. I swear to God. Ryan, I tried. Messaging, how's everybody doing? You're doing all right? It's just the kind of human being I am. Right? Because being a cop didn't identify me. It wasn't who I was or how I walked. It was just what I did for a living. So for me, it was easy. And I was older when I got into law enforcement. I was with Disney for a long time, decided to go chase this dream of being a cop. And then Disney offered me more money, and here, and there's the story. But think about this, man. If you want, you got to keep in contact with the people that are leaving your squad, because those are the ones that are going to help you in the future. And law enforcement folks just don't do that. They literally shut you off after you're done being a cop.
Great. I mean, great point. That's kind of what I was trying to allude to early in my career, seeing these people retire, and it's pat them on the head. Hey, great job. Thank you. And then we're focusing on the next leader, and that's it. And,
yeah.
It's definitely something that, the teamwork in the corporate side as well, though, is it's just this, it's almost like having a new squad.
Yeah.
But there's more camaraderie. And I know that's going to make some people angry. I'm not trying to, knock law enforcement at all, but you have a common purpose. And I think we have sometimes, hey, there's that unhealthy competition for whatever it can be, promotion, whatever.
Yep.
It was just so refreshing to do this when I didn't have to. I had so many people that were like, well, you need to wait 8 years. And I said, hey, and kind of going back to what the question I first posed to you, Carlos, is like, if I do my homework, I went out and got my master's.
Yep.
Covered the education portion. I went out and got my CPP, covered the certification portion. I already had the experience. If I get to that point where I'm standing in front of that door for my dream job, and marksman has been that has been my dream job, then why would I not do it immediately? And, that's what I want to see others. I would love to reach out to anybody that has any concerns or anything about that, because it was very hard, leaving. But then one thing that I will say is it's very scary.
Yep. To
know you're giving something up, but in law enforcement, we're not excited about the possibilities of what we can gain. And that's the one thing that I hope to share with everyone is there's so much stuff out there that you are a hot commodity, you're an asset, but for you to truly stand in front of the door, you need to have the education, the certification, and be able to articulate your experience. If you have those three, and then you reach out, just having a LinkedIn. I have a lot of colleagues that don't even have LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And so
I didn't understand that either. I remember when I was a cop and there was this thing, Facebook was kind of still new and all this other stuff. They're like, hey, don't get involved in that. Don't get involved in that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do this other thing. Well, but if I'm not posting anything that is crazy, then really doesn't matter. And then on LinkedIn, if LinkedIn, especially because it's a professional style of application on the web, what does it matter? I can see how some people get in trouble, but look, people get in trouble in the corporate world because of Facebook and all the other apps that are out there. Sure. You should just don't do what your grandma and mom don't want you to do. Don't put it up there. I think you're going to be fine. But you're right. You're right in a lot of this stuff, man. And it's really refreshing to hear. It's great for the folks that are out there just waiting to kind of transition and see, look, if this is my time, is this my time? And I keep on saying, look, you coming up on 20 years. If you think you could do 5 more because of this amount of money, imagine if you just retired at 20 and you join a tech company. Let me tell you what comes with a tech company when you join a tech company. And you got this, that bonus twice a year, stocks twice a year. Your medical is incredible, and all this other things. Free food, free exercise. If you want to go to the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu like me, BJJ, man, that's where I get my stress out. Yep. Free, because my well-being is important, right? So should you leave now? I do the math. Same thing with military folks. I tell them all the time, you're going to do another tour or whatever, man, another 3 years. Is it really worth it? If you get out now, with the money you're going to get. Think about those things. Talk to somebody that can help you through that process. And I have a feeling that Ryan is open to that conversation if anybody wants to reach out to him. But Ryan, we're coming up, man, 29 minutes. And I'm going to leave you with kind of the last words, man. And we'll go from there. I told you 30 minutes go by quick, bud.
Definitely. Well, just the last thing, wish everybody the best with the transition. It is going to be amazing. But, don't, like I said, be in front of the door when it's about to open. Just little things that I've found through the years. Have a professional profile, not a resume.
Yep.
Have a career portfolio. One thing, if you're not good at stating what your experience is, well, as you do certain things, document it and be able to have that and turn that in. I very rarely have seen someone turn in a career portfolio. But then also add meat to your professional profile. Kind of going back to what I was saying about, you can just put a bullet point, say incident command at Santa Fe versus I did this. Or, if you're a patrol commander, say I reduced overtime by 70%.
Yeah.
The world loves that. Yeah. They love that meat. And I think we have been so used to in law enforcement, you just kind of, you're conveyed as you're arrogant if you talk about yourself or say something nice about yourself. But the last thing I would say is also work on having a personal mission statement.
Yes.
I mean, if you can do that and you really show that, then people understand who you are and what you're going to bring to the table. And I'm telling you, it's amazing. I mean, I have had more than you can know that are like, hey, how's it going? Are you scared? How's it been? Did you keep your commission so you can go back?
Yep.
No. I mean, it has been amazing. And to get that quality of life back, as well as really go out there and make a difference in, the corporate world, it's just been amazing. So, but Carlos, thank you so much for your time. I mean,
that's awesome.
Us stepping out of our comfort zone is what it's all about. And do your research, find out that company that has always been your dream job. Go find your marksman, and you'll be very proud and happy.
We're going to clap it up, buddy. We're going to clap it up for you. Outstanding work. Well, Ryan, I appreciate your time, buddy. And, let's do this again. And I'm going to be in Texas not too long from now, as soon as we get to travel again. So maybe we can meet up and everything. But it was a pleasure to have you. Thank you very much. And for everybody out there, that was Ryan Erwin. And look how cool this was. We covered education, certification, experience. We covered the making yourself available, reaching out to folks that you think that's the career you want to be in. That was great. Don't doubt yourself. Customer-centric service, not only on how you operate as a human being, but the company. I think culturally, if you're looking for a company that does that, that's the key also. And, being challenged every day. Look at something that's challenging you every single day. And that's what Ryan covered today. So I appreciate it, buddy. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. Have a great day.
We'll see you, everybody. We'll leave it here. We'll see you on the next one. Again, the corporate security translator and the author of So You Want to Get Into Corporate Security. Check it out. Bye-bye.